Is this the king of the cheap angle grinders? In this video, we're gonna find out. I paid $20 for this grinder on Amazon. I'm going to tear it apart and test it. Plus, I'll compare it to another bargain grinder, the $10 Harbor Freight grinder. Well, I should say the charred remains of the $10 grinder. I did burn it up in a past video. One thing I noticed right away on this grinder that I like is the quick adjust guard mechanism. So to adjust the guard, you loosen that, move the guard, and snap that lever back in place. That's compared to the $10 Harbor Freight grinder, which has a guard that you have to move with a screw. So you have to loosen that screw, move the guard, then tighten the screw back. This is much easier. There's another thing I noticed on this, that it's actually kind of inferior to the Harbor Freight. Let me show you real quick. On the Harbor Freight grinder and on a lot of grinders, you can take out the 4 screws here on the gear case and then reposition the head of the grinder and reinstall those screws as a way to change the position of the switch. So here it's on the right side, or left side rather. You could take it apart, put it back together like this, and you could have the switch on the top. However, you can't do that on the Black & Decker because check out this big notch here in the gear case and the body. So you cannot loosen the screws and twist it so the switch is here on the top. Here's the handle for the Black & Decker. It's made of PA6 GF30, so nylon with 30% glass fiber reinforcement. It's decently beefy, but it's not padded or anything. So we've seen some better handles on more expensive grinders. Here's the Harbor Freight grinder handle. You can see they're somewhat similar. The finish on the Black & Decker is a little bit nicer. The Black & Decker does have 3 different positions for the side handle, which I like. A lot of grinders only have the 2 here on the sides. One more thing before we tear into this grinder, let's take a look at the power cord. The brand is a Yao Sheng Electric, which is not a brand I'm familiar with. It's an 18 gauge cord, and if you can see this on there, it is an SJT cord. So what does that stand for? The SJ stands for junior service, and the T stands for thermoplastic jacket. So the jacket on this is probably PVC or something similar. If you've watched my other videos, you know SJT is a common material for power tool cords, but it's not the best choice. If it just said SJ, that would mean a thermoset rubber. Thermoset rubber is more flexible in lower temperatures. It's tougher in some ways. It's just a better cord. So this is not a bad choice, but there are better materials out there. SJT is also what the Harbor Freight grinder uses, and there's another kind of similarity here. See the cord protector boot here, the strain reliever? What this does is keep the cord from kinking over really sharply, which can damage the cord. This boot is not as big and flexible as some other grinders we've seen. It looks like this is made out of nitrile rubber. It's actually just a little bit bigger than the one on the Harbor Freight grinder. Let's start tearing into this thing. I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. Rather than going through just piece by piece, I'm going to tear the whole thing apart. Then we'll pick out the most interesting pieces to talk about. Now that those brushes are out, I should be able to remove these 4 screws, pull off the gear case, as well as pull out the armature. The way this is set up, you can't really get to these last 2 screws on the bottom holding the gear case on without taking off the cover plate here. You might have noticed I'm switching screwdrivers here to this Vessel screwdriver, and that is because, hopefully you can see this on here, there is a little tiny divot in the corner of this screw here. That means these are not regular Phillips screws, these are JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard screws. So if you use a real JIS screwdriver, it'll fit them a lot better and be much less likely to strip them out. I think I paid about $7 or $8 for this Vessel No. 2 JIS screwdriver, and it's totally worth it. I've found JIS screws in a lot of places you wouldn't expect to find them. Should be able to just pop this open now. There we go. There is a little retaining ring there holding the gear in place. I'm going to remove that. Hopefully we can take off this crown gear and take a look at the bearing under there. The retaining ring is off, so the gear should just come right off. I got all the pieces of this puzzle apart, so let's get started here at the back where the main power cord comes in. We have a pretty decent strain reliever here, you can see. Heading up to the switch here, this is a JIS brand switch. I had to look this up. It's a company I wasn't familiar with, but it's a Chinese company that specializes in making electrical switches. We can see here it's rated at 10 amps at 125 volts, so it has a lot of headroom over the 6 amp rating of this grinder. The action is pretty good, it's decently smooth, and there is a boot here on the switch to help keep out debris. So overall, this switch looks pretty good. Heading up the line, we see push-on spade connectors here on the switch. That's pretty normal. This side has screw terminals. And heading up the wires here, you can see it has a braided sheathing here. And in addition to that, they put this heat shrink tubing on it for further reinforcement. Those are just a couple little details that they skip on the Harbor Freight grinder here. We can see they just have plain wire, although they do have a little bit of heat shrink tubing here. And these are the type of details that they could have eliminated if they wanted to save pennies. Taking a look at the brush holder now, you can see I pulled the brush out, but it has a spring retainer here for the brush. That's a nice detail because it keeps good consistent pressure on the brush as it wears, and it also allows you to use a larger brush in the same space. Both the Harbor Freight and the Black Decker have steel brush holders, not brass. That's a little beefier here on the Black Decker. So you can see here the Black Decker uses a much larger brush compared to the Harbor Freight. Part of that is how they're retained. See, the Harbor Freight uses this spring on top of the brush, which takes up some of the space in the brush holder. With the different retention mechanism here on the Black Decker, obviously we have a much longer brush. You can see some scratch marks here on the Harbor Freight. I was scratching them both to see if there was any significant difference in the hardness between the two. I did not notice a significant difference. However, one of the other tests I did was rubbing them on a piece of paper, and the material rubs off the Harbor Freight brush much more easily. So the size of the Black Decker brush combined with the material properties makes it clear that this one is probably going to last significantly longer than the brush on the Harbor Freight grinder. Sometimes Harbor Freight does include an extra set of brushes with their grinders, probably for that reason. Time for one of my favorite topics, bearings. This is one of the bearings out of the Black Decker. They're all the same brand and design in the Black Decker, different sizes obviously. And this is one of the bearings out of the Harbor Freight. And we can see some immediate differences. Obviously this one's a little bit smaller, it's a 607 size, but this is a sealed bearing. This is a rubber seal here that makes contact with both the outer race and the inner race to help keep out contaminants. The Harbor Freight mostly just uses shielded bearings. So this shield is crimped here around the outer race, you can see that, but there's no connection between the inner race and the shield, so this is an entry point for debris that can wear out the bearing. I think sealed bearings are just especially important in grinders because you're always grinding things and making dust, and this will help keep that dust from getting in the bearing and wearing it out. So we talked about the design, now let's talk about the brand names here. The Harbor Freight uses KG International bearings. This is an okay brand, not exactly a name brand though. The Black Decker uses bearings that are all marked CNX-BB. I can't find any company called CNX bearing or anything like that. Googling this, it doesn't turn up a bearing series from any brand I recognize. So while they used a good design of bearing using sealed bearings, they didn't really use a name brand bearing here in the Black Decker. Now let's get into the real heart of this thing, the motor rotor or armature. The windings here are pretty neatly done, and this has been generously dipped in resin. What that resin does is once it hardens, it basically holds everything together and helps prevent vibration from breaking something and causing a failure. On some more expensive grinders, we would see epoxy right here to reinforce the connection between the windings and the commutator. They didn't do that here, but it's a little hard to see probably in the video. The way they dip this in resin, the resin is very generous and thick here around the connection, so it is kind of reinforcing it there, even though it doesn't look like they used epoxy. Looks like there's a production date on there, 2018, 10, 16, so it was a couple months old when I bought it. All the laminations on the rotor here are cleanly cut and neatly stacked. You can see these are balancing marks, which is good to see. Although I will say when using this, this is not the smoothest running grinder in the world. It's probably a little bit smoother than the $10 Harbor Freight, but it's not as smooth as some of the more expensive grinders I've tested. Taking a look up here at the front, we see they use a directional fan, which is good to see. Grinders only spin one direction, and this can more efficiently move air than a non-directional fan. Now that we're looking at the gear case, let's talk about this grease in here. There's plenty of it, which is good to see. However, at this point, I've already done the cutting test with this that you'll see later. So this grinder has been plenty hot. And you can see it doesn't look like the grease flowed around that much. There's very little on the gear here. So that, also based on the appearance and the smell, this has that really pungent kind of axle grease smell. So the way it's behaved and the smell and the appearance make it look like they used some pretty cheap grease in here. This is not the more expensive, likely fully synthetic greases we've seen in some other tools I've torn apart. And there's not too much wrong with that. A lot of tools have grease like this. What I will do when I reassemble it is probably take a bunch of the grease and smear it on the gear here. I could also replace the grease with some fully synthetic wheel bearing grease I have, but I probably won't mess around with that. The quality of the machine work and the casting on the gear case here is good, but it's not the prettiest we've seen. If I can show you here, see there's some casting flash around these openings. Not very clean lines. The same thing up here, some casting flash, just kind of rough edges around these openings. That's really only a cosmetic thing. It shouldn't really affect the operation, and it's pretty typical of a kind of a cheap tool like we have here. Take a look at the Harbor Freight gear case, and it's the exact same thing. We see some kind of rough edges and casting flash around these openings. Again, it's just a cosmetic thing, but more expensive tools I've taken apart have definitely been a little bit prettier. There is one spot I've seen so far where the $10 Harbor Freight grinder has a little bit of a leg up over the Black Decker grinder, and that is right here. The crown gear goes here, obviously, and there is a main shaft that goes through the crown gear. And here on the Black Decker, that shaft is supported by a bronze bushing, so the shaft rides in there and rotates. On this Harbor Freight grinder, this $10 model number, that is a needle bearing here, which will definitely last a little bit longer and was a little bit more expensive to make than just putting a bronze bushing there. However, some other Harbor Freight grinders do use a bronze bushing. If you remember from my past video where I tore apart two different Harbor Freight $10 grinders, this model number uses a needle bearing, but the other ones use a bronze bushing like we see here in the Black Decker. Now let's take a look at the main crown gears out of these two. This is the Harbor Freight over here. This is the Black Decker here. The machine work is definitely cleaner and more consistent here on the Black Decker. For example, take a look at the two holes they drilled here for the pin that locks the gear in place. And you can see that little bit of a flashing and just kind of not very good machine work there around those holes. Not the case here on the Black Decker. Much cleaner there. Also on the face of the gear here where it's been turned, you can see very consistent and fine machine marks. Not quite as good as some of the best tools I've seen, but there's nothing wrong with this. Also, I hit this with a file and it clearly has been hardened. Here's the cover plate off the gear case, and just like the gear case, it is cast, probably aluminum, then it's machined to the final dimensions. The machining marks here are clean and consistent, so that all looks good. The bearing here is the same brand and design as the others we've seen in this grinder. So we see a rubber seal here. This is a 6001 size. So overall, this looks good. The material choice here is a really common one that we've seen on a lot of tools, PA6 GF30. So that's basically nylon with 30% glass fibers for strength. So that's a good choice for a tool like this, and they did not skimp on the material. They used plenty of it in the body here. So the body is nice and stiff, a little thinner back here on this rear cover, but it's still not too bad, and it's also PA6 GF30. Looking down in here at the field winding, and there's nothing unexpected. You can see that the windings are not coated in epoxy like they are on some more expensive tools. They've clearly been dipped in resin, but on a low-cost tool like this, they frequently skip covering the field winding in epoxy. This grinder has a 2-year warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Harbor Freight grinder has a 90-day warranty. So the warranty on this Black & Decker is a lot better than the Harbor Freight. But are you actually going to use the warranty on a tool if it's only 20 or 25 bucks and it breaks after a year? My thinking is maybe not. It might be too much of a hassle. But it is there if you want to use it. Now it's time for the test. I put all the grinders through this test, which is cutting a pretty heavy piece of angle iron, and I really push the grinder to give them a good workout. If they can handle this, they should be able to handle any normal job. The Black & Decker did fine. I made a dozen cuts. It did slow some, but it did not stall, and it generally didn't have much trouble cutting this. If you remember, the $10 Harbor Freight grinder stalled and overheated in this same test. So overall here, when you compare the Harbor Freight to the Black & Decker, the Black & Decker has significantly more power, a better bearing design, better machine work overall, a much longer warranty, longer lasting brushes in the motor, and a much better design on the guard. But there are some improvements they could do here to the Black & Decker. I would like to see a needle bearing here in the gear case supporting that main shaft that goes through the gear, and maybe some better grease in here. This does seem like the cheap stuff. So this is more money than the Harbor Freight grinder, but it's a lot better. For the $20 I paid, it's really a steal. Right now, as I record this, it's gone up in price to $29, but I still think that's a pretty good deal. And the price history shows that it's gone on sale multiple times recently for between $20 and $25. So I think this grinder is a really good deal. You could spend a little bit more money and step up to the Harbor Freight Hercules grinder. As I showed you in some past videos, that grinder is well made, but it does only have the 90-day Harbor Freight warranty. So what do you think? Is this grinder worth the price? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button and that like button. Thanks for watching.